All right. Hi, everyone. It's Camille Virginia from Master Offline Dating, and I'm here with Geraldine Lepere from Comme Française. And Geraldine we were hanging out in New York a couple of weeks ago and talking about the difference between American flirtations and French flirtations and what that kind of means. So, welcome, Geraldine. Thank you so much for kind of just walking us through what this big difference is and breaking down the mystery of the French woman.
Well, bonjour everyone. I'm very glad to be here. So, as Camille just said, my name is Geraldine Lepere. I'm the founder of communefrancaise.com. What I do is I help a lot of friends culture to tap into their passion and speak everyday French. So, as Camille said again, we went to an event together in New York a few weeks ago. And we had such a nice conversation about the difference between dating in the US and flirting in France. And we thought we have to do something together. So I'm so honored to be here with you today. And I'm looking forward to hearing your questions, Camille.
Awesome. Let's get started. How would you describe overall the difference between how French women flirt and how American women flirt? Something that you've noticed because you're obviously French and I know you've spent a lot of time in the US. What's something that really pops out at you?
It's funny because when you ask this question, the first thing that comes to my mind is that French women don't expect a process for dating. So that's the first thing, which is we don't even have a translation for date. So it's very different because for us, like flirting is more natural, I'd say, because it's kind of in our culture. I'm not going to say in our genes, but more in the French culture, and I think in Italy as well, maybe Spain. So we take care of ourselves all the time to feel good, to look good, to give a good image to the others. So because like yes, I have to say I appreciate seeing beautiful women and beautiful men in the street because it makes you feel like, wow, I'm in good company here. And just not to offend your audience here, what I mean by beautiful and pretty is not like look like a 16-year-old in a magazine because no one does. I mean,
Yeah,
it
that's not
doesn't
reality.
exist. So it's I mean by being beautiful, some being like a person who takes care of themselves and you radiate self-confidence. And it's funny because this what you said just right before we started doing this interview, but the fact that French women seem confident. Well, this is what for us beauty is. Because it would be like you look
Mm.
at someone and you think, wow, she looks awesome. And it's not a matter of age. It's not a matter of size or weight. It's really more charisma and making yourself pretty.
I
So
love
I would say like,
that.
yeah, and it's exactly why we connected so well because also in the French culture, French men and women like they can show appreciation and show and offer compliment with each other in kind of a flirty but non-sexual way. You will appreciate someone else in terms of how they behave, what they have to say, how they dress, their whole style, like their whole persona. And as again, something that we mentioned before and which I'm so happy to talk about today is that flirting with your partner is forever.
I love that
French,
so much.
for us, because for us in France, we don't take marriage as granted. Once you're married, seducing your partner is as important as it was before. So we never give up on him or her or yourself as well. So when I hear about dates process and the importance of marriage and everything, yes, it can be and it is, but it's something that you want for life. So this is why it's so different.
I'm so quoting you on these. This is amazing. It's so true. I think, I don't know where it started, but in America, I think there's this emphasis on, look really hot, go out all the time, try to meet people. And then once you're married, you're done. You don't have to shave your legs anymore. And that is so false. But if you have confidence, like you were just talking about, that's something that you have no matter whether you're single or in a relationship or dating, and it carries through for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not about putting too much pressure on yourself, like looking like a model every day or looking your best ever every day, but it's being authentic, but being also respectful of yourself and of others. So sometimes we cannot be perfect. We cannot put makeup every day, and we don't shouldn't have to, and we have to do what we want to do.
Because when you dress well, even if it's just, that means not wearing pants with holes in them. You show respect for yourself and you show respect for whoever you encounter, whether it's a date you're going on or someone at the grocery store. It's kind of a community respect. So I like that you said that.
Absolutely. And you are into dating, so you already know that. I'm sure your audience knows that. But who knows? You might meet your future husband at the grocery store.
That's what my big
So,
thing. I love that. You can meet him anywhere, which is exactly what
yeah,
I advocate. And it's so beautiful because you don't have to save up your, all your pretty shades of lipstick or, your big fancy clothes for Friday night every week, Wear something that gives you confidence, that makes you feel pretty on a Monday afternoon, because we can plan all we want to in life. And I know I'm a planner. I like to kind of be in control of things. But the beauty of other people and social interaction is you have no idea when you're going to run into somebody. And so when you're always looking and feeling good, especially just for yourself, which is the best reason, you're going to attract lots of other people as you go about your day without even probably doing it on purpose or knowing that you're doing it.
yeah. My parents met on a train, so it was very unexpected. So
I
I
love that.
100% agree.
I love trains so much. Let's see. Next question. How do French men react when a woman flirts with them? So you touched on, flirting doesn't have to be sexual. It can be playful. So I like to say that flirting doesn't have to have a goal. That doesn't mean he has to ask for your number in the end. It can just be a moment of having fun with someone else. It could be an elderly gentleman, and a young woman or vice versa. And, so, what are your thoughts on that? How do the Frenchmen react? And I guess, do they just enjoy the moment, or I guess also a better way to say it, American women tend to fear leading men on.
Yeah.
So, I think that ties in well with this because it sounds like the French men and women just enjoy it for the moment. But I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I love the fact that you say flirting doesn't have to have a goal, because this is true. Well, for me, that's true. You can appreciate and have a fun moment with another adult without like cheating on someone else, just like you appreciate someone else and you play with them in a way. It's a game. So what's funny is something I heard only from the US, like rating women from 1 to 10. Oh, she's an 8, she's a 9. I'm like, what? Really? And the idea of having leagues, like she's out of your league or she's in your league. I want to marry a 9. I'm like, what? I've never heard that in France. Maybe I'm too old and maybe I'm too committed to someone else. But I think that here in France, we just consider that all women are different. And we don't see marriage as getting into a league. Maybe some men want to marry a super hot, like a very tall woman with awesome boobs. You say that in English?
Yeah.
And she's blonde and she's everything he's looking for. But that's some people, and that's absolutely fine. So I would say, how do French men react when the French women flirt with them? I would say they are flattered, because it's always nice when someone flirts with you in a nice way. I'm not talking about sexual harassment at all here. I want to precise again. It's really about nice flirt, like someone appreciates you and they're kind of playing a game with you. So again, not sexual harassment at all. So I would say the men then enter the game, and that's it. It can be a moment if you're looking for someone and they're looking for someone as well. It could start something, but it doesn't have to start something. And I would say the men want to show their best side. They invite you for dinner or drinks. They cook for you, because lots of men can cook here. They send you gifts. So it all depends on who you two are. It can be nothing of this. It can be everything. It just depends on who you are, and nothing is really expected. That's the thing, because this is something we might talk about later, but in France, we're very, very exclusive. So you don't date around and like have different dates at the same time. When you start dating someone or like flirting with them with a serious intention, everything stops and it's just for her.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's great. I love that you don't even have a word for dating in French.
Yeah.
Oh, I like all of that so much. And yeah, it's true. It's showing appreciation for the other person, whether that's cooking or a smile. I'm really big on just human connection and acknowledgement. I mean, so many people can just feel invisible because everyone around them is on their cell phone, bumping into them and, stepping on their toes because they don't notice that they're there because they're so wrapped up in their own little world. And so even just smiling or eye contact, let alone, hey, how's your day going? Or something friendly and flirtatious like that can be huge for people. So that's awesome. Let's see. What are a couple ways that American women can flirt more like French women? So we talked about, maybe not focusing on the goal, just having it for a moment and seeing where it goes. Dressing for respect for yourself and for other people. Anything else that anyone watching right now could go out the door and try, even just a little bit different?
Well, yeah, you said a few. I was thinking like three. I had three ideas when you mentioned this question. Like, first, obviously, don't try to be someone you're not. Just because you're dating and trying to win over someone, you have to show your best, but don't be someone you're not. So don't lie or go over the top with flirting, like being someone you saw on TV, because it's not you. Don't starve yourself to date someone, because what I think is that when you date someone you have to show your best self, but if you're planning on marrying this person, they'd rather know who you are before before you live together. So yeah, you have to be your best, because that's the honeymoon period of like you discover each other, but even 10 years later you have to be the same person, the same core person, if you see what I mean. So that's why dating, you have to be the most you have to smile and be nice and trying to win them over, but don't be someone you're not, whether in bed or outside or in any of those ways that magazines tell you to do. That's just too weird.
Yeah, and it's going to come out eventually, so might as well just own it. I read a New York Times article one time about dating, and they said everyone should sit down on the first date and ask, okay, what's your crazy? And just get it out in the beginning, which is a little extreme. But I love that you said that because, we are who we are. And also, when we try to be something we're not, people can sense it, even if they don't know quite what's going on. And so it just doesn't really line up. So not only does it benefit you for just relaxing and being yourself and being accepted, but the person may not be looking for whoever you think this other persona is that you have to do. So
Absolutely. And the second thing is, as we said, is be your best self. So take care of yourself all the time, whether you're doing the groceries. But groceries doesn't mean you have to put on red lipstick and super high heels. Like, be clean, wear nice clothes, like a clean t-shirt, be smiley, and that's it. And maybe you will meet the man of your dreams, like when you take the trash out. That
yes,
happens, and it will be a funny story to say later, but because you will be open and not being on you won't be on your guard all the time. Like, I can meet him, I can meet him. No, you're like, you're relaxed. You know, you look good enough for the time, for right now. It just changed everything. And a funny thing, like you were talking about dating, we don't have a word. In France, the fact that words are comfortable doesn't matter. We don't have like comfortable clothes. We don't have yoga pants. It doesn't exist here. So everything is more about being elegant and attractive, even though, again, it's not being flirty in a sexual way, because if you're engaged, you want to be with this other person. But it's more about like looking good. You have to be able to breathe, obviously, but it's more about being elegant and attractive. So be your best self and work on yourself, not work on what other people might expect from you.
oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I've read those interviews of the regrets of the people who are on their deathbed, and one of the top ones that comes up is, I wish I'd lived the life that I wanted to live as instead of what other people expected me to. And that's going a little deep, but it's true. And I mean, everything from what we think other people expect of us, which they probably don't. People are more concerned with themselves than they are with other people. And it's funny because we all think that other people are more concerned with us, but if you think about it, that doesn't add up. So, yeah, that's great. I love that. Let's see. My questions go. Oh, I love what you said when we were talking in New York about how the French keep their relationship very private. And I love Sex and the City, the show, but they basically do the exact opposite. They dish over breakfast about their sex lives, who they're dating, like their boyfriend's financial troubles, like all this stuff. And I think um, that that doesn't do a lot of good, because then especially if you end up marrying that person, your friends know all these dirty details about them, and you're getting together for dinner, and it's awkward. And I wouldn't be comfortable if the roles were reversed and a guy I was dating was spilling that about me to his guy friends. So, but tying it back to what you said about the French and keeping those details private, is that throughout I know there's no dating process, but like when you're first interested in someone, all the way through the marriage and even after, if it doesn't work out, or what does that look like?
Well, it's funny that I think that, well, if it's with your friends and it's not something very serious, everybody's going to talk about this kind of details because they make a fun story. But mostly, we respect our partners very, very much, and don't want others to know things that he wouldn't like others to know. So I would think it this way, and also by showing yourself as being rude and oversharing, it's not good for your own image. Because if I think on the dating side, if a guy was talking about me in a bad way, and he wouldn't look attractive himself, because by sharing all this, he doesn't show a good side of himself. So yeah, privacy is very important for us. And what I say is that as long as both adults are happy with their relationship, it's up to them to do whatever they want with their spouse. And we are not very judgmental on couples. So it's funny because that doesn't give us a good image, because that's why so many people think that French people have mistresses and lovers, but that's not the case. It's because we respect the right for people to have mistresses and lovers, because it's none of our business. So we don't judge someone's whole life on this. So, for example, a president wouldn't lose his job because of this, or anyone wouldn't. It doesn't mean that we think it's okay, though. I don't want my partner to cheat on me or these kind of things. But it's a bit like freedom of speech. You can do it. We respect the right to do it. It doesn't mean that we don't think you're stupid. But we're not going to judge your whole life on this event, because this is your private life and this is your marriage. We don't know what happened before or after. So it's really it's your life, and I'm no one to judge it. And I'm no one to say, because of this, you shouldn't do other things, such as having this job or doing this thing. It's really up to you.
Wow, that's great. So it sounds like sharing a little bit here and there, the fun details to make a good
Like
story.
humans do.
Like humans do. We love stories. We love talking about other people, but anything that you wouldn't want your partner to say about you, keeping that private. And also the judgmental thing, that's huge. I think Americans are very judgmental. I think it's kind of a cultural thing. And maybe it's because, watching shows like Jerry Springer or hearing about Brad Pitt and Angelina breakup makes us feel a little bit better about ourselves. But if we think about it, we should probably go a little deeper on that of, why do we need to be so in tune with those things and be so focused on those, when if that's hitting a note for ourselves, we should probably explore that a little more and take care of that for ourselves, so that that's not such a big focus, like why are we having a reaction to that? So yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Those are all my questions. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, or is there anything that would be helpful from a dating perspective? Any questions for me?
Yeah,
Not that you need it, but
there is something funny, that's something I hear all the time that's very American. And again, I'm not saying it's bad, it's just a difference in culture. Something very French is our partner is not our best friend. So I often hear, I married my best friend. In France, I'm not saying it's bad again, it doesn't make sense for our culture. Because our husband is our lover, the love partner, whatever word you use, but he's not the one I'm in my pajamas with all the time watching TV. You see, it's a really different relationship, and the intimacy you have with your husband is someone that only belongs to the two of you. In the French culture, it usually doesn't make sense. I married my best friend because even I've been with my partner for 10 years. So, and I have a best friend who's a guy, a best friend who's a girl, and I wouldn't marry them. So for us, when we hear I married my best friend, we're like, because the relation we have with people we flirt with or people we want to marry later has nothing to do with the relationship you have with your best friend. So again, it's all about setting yourself in a flirty mood or in a dating mood or whatever one you use, more than a nice, friendly way. So again, it's not about saying it's wrong. It's just that it's a different sort of culture that even like binational couples should know, because it could bring lots of issues there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. I love your reaction to I married my best friend. Ugh. Because you're thinking of your best friends who you hang out with.
Oh
You're like,
no.
I'm not want to marry them.
For us, it would be like I'm marrying my brother. So it's a difference in the way we see potential partners. We don't necessarily stay friends with our exes. We're not looking for a friendly relationship. We're looking for a relationship. So it helps usually to separate the way you behave with someone you are flirting with and the way you behave with your friends.
That's great. Yep, I like that. So you get your friendship from other relationships. You're not waiting for the perfect person who is your best friend, lover, father of your children, like all these different roles. 'Cause that's a lot of pressure to put on someone, and it makes it really hard to find someone who can fit that. But getting those relationships from your friends, get your friendship from your friends, get your passion and your support from your spouse, and things like that. I think that's great. Yeah, and if you've got good friendships, and then all you're missing is the romantic piece, that makes it a lot easier to find a guy who doesn't have to be your best friend also. You can still keep your best friends.
Yeah, and so what you're expecting and what you're sharing with your friends is not necessarily something you would share with your partner as well. So you're not overbearing on him.
Yes, I think that's key too, especially as women, we like to talk things out when we have something that's troubling us or we need to work through. We talk a lot, whereas men will, their emotional tank, I've heard it referred to, is much smaller. And so you get, a woman, if she's trying to talk to her partner about something and she's just doing what's more natural to her, which is, expressing her emotions and this and that, he just has less capacity than, say, your best friend, who's a woman who totally understands, is on the same page, gets it a lot more. And so I think that's a beautiful way of putting it is, not exhausting that, not tapping out your partner for all of your emotional needs. And I think it's also healthy too. You're not putting so much burden on one person. And I like all of that. That's great. All right. Any final thoughts or anything before we go?
I think I'm just telling your audience, if you're looking for someone to help you, Camille seems to be a very, very nice person to help. And sometimes we just need help because we are busy women, we're working all the time, and it's not easy to find someone who fits your expectations. So be yourself, but also improve yourself. And I think this is how Kemi can help you. And she didn't ask me to say that.
Oh, thank
it's more
you.
about being more self-confident. And she helps you to know that, okay, you can be yourself, you can be your best self, don't try to be someone else. And adjusting this helps to find the right person for you. And you can definitely meet him at the grocery store. Yes.
I want more grocery store stories. I love the grocery store.
And also, if you meet at the grocery store, you already live in the same neighborhood. So it's pretty clever.
It's fantastic. And you have a great story to tell your children. Oh, well, merci beaucoup, Geraldine. I really appreciate that. That was very sweet. I didn't expect you to say that. Thank you.
I know, but I know that sometimes we all need help, and it's not easy to ask for help, especially as women. So it's better said.
No, merci.
So thank you so much for having me, Camille. If you need anything, you can contact me on communefrancaise.com. We do lots of things about French culture, French language, and French lifestyle. And soon we'll be opening up the brand to so many other topics. So you don't have to want to learn French. We can add so much French stuff to your life. And I hope you like it. So have a good day.
Oh, that's
And bye.
awesome. Thank you so much, Geraldine. I'll check it out. All right. Au revoir.
Au revoir.